Hi there, and thank you so much for joining me again. Today, I'm lucky enough to have some of my favorite synths, effects pedal, and groove box right in front of me. It's about 9:30 p.m. and I'm thinking, hey, why not have a nice jam before we go to bed? Before we start, please know that Make Noise did send this Okos to me so I could try out in demo, but I loved it so much that I bought a second one for myself. So still, thank you Make Noise for making this video possible. And my intention, at first, was showing you a bit of the technicalities or, sound design capabilities. But instead of that, how about we just have fun? I show you some very cool sounds and show you how I use this in a more musical, jam-based context. The MPC is going to be the main brain here. I have this hooked up via MIDI to everything. Basically, this thing has MIDI outs out the wazoo. I have two 5-pin MIDI outs that are going into the two Okos, and I have a USB MIDI going into the peak. As for the sound routing, I have everything going into my Zoom L6, except for one of the Okos that is going to be going directly into the MPC, and I'm going to be using some of the onboard effects, processing it live. Okay, so let's start out with Sounds of the Peak. This is one of my favorite presets on the entire device, which is called Purity. As the name implies, it's just beautifully pure, but I want to modify a bit. Gonna mess around with a cutoff, give it a little less release, and give it some reverb and delay. I love how it sounds with the delay, but I think I'm gonna use that as a performance effect. So let's go ahead and record that in. Okay, so far so good. Okay, just so we can get rid of the metronome, I'm gonna make myself a very simple beat here. Okay. Goodbye metronome. Okay, now we're gonna get into the good stuff, which is the first Okos. Now, when I do these multiple Okos setups, I usually use one as the bass and one other one as a lead tone. Just because they have that range and pitch, they sound beefy, and also you can do a lot of tweakability here without actually knowing what the knobs are doing, but you get some very interesting timbres. So this, that is the sound of this bass. Now you may notice I have this going into the balance knob. Without this, that's how it sounds like. That's the overtone all the way to the right, all the way to the left, but I keep it in the center, and that gives me a bit of variation. You can see the light there. I love that little visual cue. You can see how it's modifying it slightly, twiddling this knob. Gives it a bit more life, But that's not all we're gonna do. I'm one of those freaks out there that loves their bass with lots of reverb. How are you not gonna love that? This thing right here, I've always said, the night sky is a synth extension. So now we're going to make a very sustained bass right here. About this little duo is that you can tweak this and this. Okay, that by itself is already sounding very cool, but Remember, we have another O-coast. Now, with this second O-coast, I'm doing something interesting. I'm patching this little random oscillator, LFO, whatever it's called in the manual, and I'm routing it into here so I could manipulate it and send it into the overtone. So this is tweaking this knob over here. Now, listen to the different timbres I can get if I mess around with the multiplier. Listen to this almost kind of like muted. And there it is. I love the, I don't know, raw sound of the O-coast. I rarely use patches, actually. I've just been messing around with this for a couple hours before I started actually sitting down to make it official. Look at that. Okay, so now I'm gonna add a bit of an effect here. And if you've ever seen any of my MPC Live 3 videos before, you know I'm gonna use the Reverb Pro and the Delay Pro. So let's go into here and see how that glitchiness feeds the delay in here? Because the Air Delay Pro, it has some glitchiness of its own. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm multiplying the glitchiness of the O-coast with the Air Delay Pro. So let's see if we can come up with something interesting. Absolute favorite things about the O-coast is that it's one of the few synths where I can just twiddle away knowing that it's still gonna sound good. Let me show you. Getting carried away. Okay, so the very last thing I want to add is one of my favorite synths on the MPC, which is the Jura. I think it's going to sound great with the O-coast and the peak. So let's try a little arpeggiator. Let's see, note repeat. And okay, and just so we can mess around a bit, I think I'm going to be controlling. Yeah, I'm going to be controlling off of resonance. That's where it's at. Let's go. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your support. I hope you found this video useful, or at least entertaining. Have a great week. I will see you next time.